My name is Wally Hauk. I'm Senior Vice President for Communico. Communico has been in business for 30 years, helping organizations to create exceptional service cultures. Today, we're going to be talking about how we can help service advisors in their incredibly challenging jobs. Now, there's a couple of things that you already know. You already know the importance of fixed ops. Fixed ops, the service department, is absolutely critical for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's critical for the customer, because if you can have a customer commit to a regular service maintenance program, a number of benefits happen. First of all, it's a safer ride. They can find problems sooner and therefore reduce the overall cost of maintenance of the vehicle. Plus, it adds value to the vehicle long term. What are the benefits for the dealership? Well, the major benefit is that the service department, fixed ops, contributes, research shows, contributes as much as 50% of the profitability. The better the service advisors are able to develop relationships and create service for customers, the higher the probability there will be that the customers will continue with that maintenance schedule. And that's really what we want, because that helps the customer and helps the dealership. Now, the challenges, my goodness, the challenges are huge for the service advisors. They have to be technically proficient. They've got to have people skills. They have to have organizational skills and service skills, communication skills. They've got to listen to the customer. They have to have listening skills, listen and interpret what the customer needs and wants, and then translate that over to the technicians so that things get fixed. So these challenges are immense, and the service advisors are right on the front lines of this action. And so they have an amazing opportunity to influence the customer and influence the profitability of the fixed ops. So how can Communico possibly help? Well, we have a predictable process. It's called Magic of Customer Relations. MAGIC stands for make a great impression on the customer. Make a great impression on the customer in every single interaction. And that even includes difficult situations. So today, what you're going to see are 3 different situations that we're going to show you where MAGIC can help you. And it's going to be up to you to decide, are there any skills there that you could adopt? Are there any behaviors that if you adopted them, it would really help you reduce the stress in your job, increase the productivity, and give you a higher probability of serving that customer? We're going to show you what we call a tragic version. Tragic version is where the relationship is not as protected as we would like. We're going to show you a MAGIC version where the relationship is protected, the productivity is heightened, and the service is heightened for the customer. We have 3 scenarios. The first one is a price was given to a customer and there was a mistake. The second scenario is where there's a new vehicle sold and there's a flaw with the new vehicle and the customer is upset. The third scenario is where the customer brings the vehicle in for service. They go home. The service was not, the problem was not fixed. So the customer comes back and is upset. Please take a look at both of these, the tragic and the MAGIC. What are you learning? What can you take away from it? And then we'll talk about it right after. Let's see how you do. What is this? I don't understand this price. When I came in this morning, dropped the car off, I was told that this tire would be such and such a price. Now, look at what you gave me here. Mm-hmm. I need that other price. This is ridiculous. Were you trying to get one past me or something?
And who do you, I didn't deal with you. Who did you speak with?
I don't know who I talked to.
That would be really helpful to know so I could go find out what exactly.
It would be helpful. It would be helpful if I got the other price too.
Okay. Yeah, hang on. Let me research it for just a second, okay? Okay, I'm looking in the system right here, and that is the actual price of the tire and the repair. So I don't know who you talked to or what happened, but that is the price.
That's ridiculous. You're forcing me to think about not coming back here. You realize that?
I'm sorry you feel that way. You could go talk to the manager, but that is an accurate price.
No, I don't want to talk to the manager. He's too busy, clearly. All right. Thank you so much for watching the tragic version of a price that was given and then it was not an accurate price. Let me ask you this. What made that tragic? In your mind, what behaviors of the associate made that tragic? For example, there are three key elements of any kind of interaction, especially face-to-face interaction. They're the words that are used, there's the tone of voice, and then there's the body language, the facial expression. What did you notice about the words? Can you write down some of the words that he used that made that tragic? In the very beginning introduction, you heard me say that tragic, the difference between tragic and magic is the relationship. The relationship is built with magic. The relationship is damaged with tragic. So please take a look at your handout. What did you write down that was tragic? You'll notice in your handout on page 1, at the very top, there are tragic words on the left-hand side of your handout, and then there are possible magic replacement words on the right-hand side. Can you pick out one thing that's a tragic phrase that you may be using? For example, here are some that were in the video. I don't know. Who did you talk to? I don't know. I can't do that, but maybe. Those are tragic phrases that damage the relationship. What words on the right-hand side there could you use instead? That's what we challenge you to do. Pick out one. All right? Pick out one. Now we're going to watch the magic version of this. Here's what I'd like to ask you to do. Two things. Two things, which is going to be a challenge. I know you can do it. Listen for what the behaviors are, what the words are, what the tone is, what the facial expression is that's different with the associate. Are you noticing that there's a lot more confidence versus hesitancy in the tragic one that you just watched? So see if you can notice that difference. And what's the difference in the customer's reaction? Magic is a predictable process to create a relationship. You're going to notice a difference in the customer reaction. What is it? How do you describe it? We'll talk about it. Let's watch now. Oh, what is this price? When I came in this morning, I dropped the car off. I was told a different price than this is much higher than what I was told this morning when I dropped this off. Are you trying to get one past me?
Oh, absolutely not. And your first name is, sir?
Wally.
Wally. Okay, I'm Greg. I'm going to help you with this today. And just so I can ask you a few questions and see what we can do, because I sense you're frustrated here.
Okay.
Okay. And do you happen to know who you spoke to?
I have no idea.
Oh, that's not a problem I could look up in there. And so you're telling me that you were quoted a certain price, and now that the repairs have been done, you're saying that's not the price that you believed you were quoted.
That's exactly correct.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I'd be glad to take care of it for you today. Would you give me just a few minutes to let me research, and I'll be right back with you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Wally, thanks while I research that. Thanks for your time. So I took a look at this, and I'm not sure what happened before, but I did validate with my manager and the technicians that that is the correct price, and I realized that that is upsetting and disappointing when you thought it was something and it's something else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely understand, and I apologize for any inconvenience there. But I did validate that it is the price on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say. I'm still a little bit upset that I was told incorrect
I
information.
absolutely would be upset too. Did you want to go ahead and pay for that today, or how did you want to handle that?
Yeah, I've got to pay for it, and I've got to get out of here. So
good. Okay. Well, I just want to say, on behalf of the dealership, I do apologize that there was some miscommunication there. We value your business very much, and I appreciate your understanding.
All right. All right. Thanks very much. All right. Thank you so much for watching the magic. I asked you two questions right at the end of the tragic one. What behaviors did you notice? What words did he use that were magic? What was his tone of voice? What was his body language? Did you notice what he did differently that made that magic? Share it with partners if you're watching with someone. Did you notice the difference in the customer's reaction? Was the customer much more cooperative? Now, was the customer totally happy? I would say not totally happy. Why? Because he didn't get what he really was asking for. On the other hand, was the relationship solid afterwards? Now, why was that? Well, here's some magic behaviors that perhaps you've noticed. He asked for the name, he used the name, and he used it multiple times. He used the customer's name, he used his own name. He provided empathy. He provided empathy. That's got to be very frustrating. I can certainly understand your concern about that as some examples. He provided an appropriate apology where he apologized for the impact. He didn't apologize for the error because it wasn't his error. He asked permission to ask questions, and then he asked questions to identify what the actual issue was. Ask yourself, who was in control of that interaction in the tragic scenario? It was likely you would say that it's the customer. Who's in control of the interaction in the magic? My guess is you're going to admit and agree with me that it was the associate. And isn't that what we want? And so is that customer going to return? My guess is he will return in that scenario. And that's exactly what we want. Why? Because we've developed that relationship. There are multiple ways that you can respond to difficult situations as it relates to options for the customer, and depending upon the individual, depending upon the dealership, you might offer different options. That's up to you. What's helpful for you, I assert, is going to be developing that relationship such that it's more of a partnership and not a stressful confrontation. Let's take a look at the next scenario, and let's see what you think about the tragic scenario that we're about to watch. You know, I just bought this car. You know how much I paid for this car? And there's still a problem with this car. I drove it home last night after I picked it up. This is not right. I need you to look at this immediately and get this fixed.
Yes, sir. I hear you. And, these are machines. We can probably fix anything that's going on.
They're machines.
But
Okay.
I understand from time to time there is going to be a problem. So what I can do is go look and see if we can get you in today and see what's going on with it.
Well, that's ridiculous. I'm going to speak to the salesperson. I'm going to speak to the manager. You're going to have to respond better than that.
Yeah, you're welcome to speak to anybody that you would like to speak, but if you would just wait here for just a second, I can go research real quick and see if we can get you in.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Smith, I did research that today. We can get it in. I don't know when it's going to be done. I do not have a loaner today either.
This is not good. This is not right.
Yeah. No.
We've got to do something about this.
Okay. I do have a loaner. I looked in the screen. We do have a loaner for tomorrow. So if you could take the car home and come back tomorrow, we can do our best to get that done. And, we need to take a look at it. I don't know how long we need a part. I really don't know till we get it up on the lift.
I'm going to have to accept that, but I'm really not happy, and I really don't want to do business here again. I'm going to get this fixed. I'll be back tomorrow. What time should I come in tomorrow?
10 o'clock would be good.
All right. This better get fixed. I'm going to have to decide whether or not
As
to
I
come
said,
back here or not.
like I said, we've got a great shop in here, so I'm sure we can get it taken care of.
All right. All right. Thank you for watching that tragic. Has that ever happened in the dealership where a new car has a flaw in it? What are the things that you noticed that made that tragic? What are the words that the associate used? What's the tone that he had? What was the body language and behaviors that he had that contributed to that customer's reaction? What was the customer's reaction? Was he a little bit defensive? Was he a little bit threatening? In fact, he did threaten, right? He was going to talk to everybody in the dealership. So what are those behaviors? Let me give you a couple of examples on the words that he used. He said, probably. He said, well, these are machines, almost like the customer should expect that there might be problems. The customer doesn't want to hear those things, and that's a great example of the impact that a tragic phrase can have when the customer is not expecting that, doesn't need to hear that. It sounds like an excuse. In fact, that's very often what tragic phrases are, excuses. If you're the customer, do you want to hear excuses? So think about this. Also, the tone of voice. Was the associate a little bit defensive? Don't you want to be confident instead? And so let's take a look at the magic version of this. What are you noticing that he's doing differently such that the customer's reaction is different as well? Is the customer more cooperative? And would you say that the customer is more willing to come back to the dealership, to come back to that service department, even though he was really disappointed in that flaw in the new car? Let's take a look and see. I can't believe this is happening. I just spent a lot of money on this new car. I just picked it up yesterday, drove it home last night.
Right.
There's a flaw in this car. I need somebody to look at this car today.
Oh my gosh.
I drove back today specifically for this because I'm so upset. I need you to look at it.
Absolutely. I can sense how frustrated you are. I would be too. And your first name is, I'm sorry?
Wally.
Wally. And your last name?
Smith.
Smith. Wally. If I could, Wally. Yeah, Wally. So I'm going to take care of this for you. I absolutely understand how important this is. You spent a lot of money on the car. You want it to run perfectly. From time to time, things do happen, but I do understand that we need to get this squared away for you. May I ask you just a couple questions, and then I'll research and see what we can do.
Okay, sure.
Okay. If I can get a loaner car today, would that be okay for you? You could leave the car, we could look at it?
That would be great.
Okay.
That'd be great because I want this taken care of today.
Absolutely. And once I research this, if I can't get a loaner car, is it an option for you to bring it in tomorrow where I would have a loaner car?
I got to look at my schedule. That's going to be really frustrating. I'll look at my schedule and see if that's something that could work.
Absolutely. I appreciate that because I want to give you some options to do that. Okay? So would you give me just a minute and I'll be right back with you because I do want to take care of this for you.
I'll check my schedule.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Wally, thanks for waiting. I appreciate that. I do checked in the back, and we do not have a loaner car. I apologize. I do know that's not the way we treat our customers, and I understand your frustration. I can guarantee that we have one for you tomorrow morning. Okay. So if that's okay with your schedule, could you come in tomorrow morning? Okay.
Not happy. I can come in. I check my schedule so I can come in tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And then what we're going to do from there is we'll get it up on the lift. You give me a good number. We'll make sure we take care of it. I will call you right when we find out what the problem is, get back to you with what's going on, make sure we take care of this because your business is important to us.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
All right.
Thanks for bringing it in, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 10
All
o'clock.
right. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Good to see you, Wally.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Thank you for watching the magic version. I asked you 2 questions at the end of the tragic. What are those things that the associate is doing now that makes this magic? You may have noticed that. Have a discussion about that if you have someone there with you. And was the customer's reaction different? Did you notice a difference in the customer's reaction? So here are some of the magic phrases that I'd like you to consider replacing if you are using any of the tragic phrases. In fact, you could look at your handout. Again, at the top of page 1, there are tragic phrases that I mentioned in the last scenario, and there are magic phrases that can be replaced, that can replace those tragic phrases. For example, I can appreciate how frustrating this must be. That's one of the empathy statements he used. He asked the customer's name. He used the customer's name. Again, simple little things that you can do that develop the relationship quickly. And he asked permission to ask questions. He asked questions, and then he came up with a solution and asked the customer if that solution would work for that customer. Giving customers options is part of the magic, and you'll see that on page 2 when you review some of the magic process, that predictable process. You can see some of these things that you may want to work on yourself. There's a lot to work on here. Please don't put too much pressure on yourself. Pick one thing that you would like to change. Work on that because you can watch this multiple times and have different choices. Let's take a look at the final scenario, which is going to be a tragic scenario. Let's take a look at that, see what we can learn there.
Hi, Mrs. Smith. I see you're back.
My car was here all day yesterday.
Yeah.
It's still not fixed.
Oh.
I've got to get it fixed right away. I'm going out of town this weekend.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're super busy today. We're down on technicians. Geez, I'll do my best. Sometimes these things happen, and I'm sorry that happened to you, but we're doing the best we can.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I need it fixed right away, and I hope I can have a loaner car this time.
Oh, we're a little short on loaner cars, but I tell you what, let me talk with my manager. Give me just a couple minutes, and I'll be back with you. I'll do my best to get it done.
This is crazy.
Ms. Smith, I went to talk to my manager, and we can try to get it in today. The problem is, once we get it in, I don't know how long it's going to take.
I need the car fixed today. And please find me a loaner.
As I mentioned, I'll see what I can do, but I just don't know how long the car is going to be in here, even if we can get it in today.
This is crazy. This is not right.
I do apologize for that. We're doing the best we can here.
Okay, thank you so much. How frequently could this happen? And if it does happen, where there's the original reason the customer comes in to bring the car in for service and that problem was not fixed, how upsetting is that for the customer? Has that ever happened to you? And what was the response? What were some of the behaviors? The behavior of the associate, did that behavior make things better or actually make things worse? Well, think about what are some of the tragic phrases that he used and what was his tone? Did it sound defensive, his tone? Did it sound almost, I dare say, sarcastic a little bit? And is that helpful for the relationship? For example, he said, we're doing the best we can. Is that what the customer wants to hear? And we're super busy here. Well, where's the focus there? The focus is on you and what your situation is versus what the customer situation is. And that's what tragic phrases tend to do, is they damage the relationship because the focus is not on the customer, focus is on what situation you have, and that somehow they have to deal with it because they're the customer. That's a perfect example of tragic phrase. So again, take a look at page 1. What are some of the phrases that you heard? And what are the magic phrases that you are willing to change if you happen to be saying some of those things in this very difficult situation? So let's look at now the magic version. Please look at 2 things, please. What are some of the things that he's doing that's different, that's causing a different response from the customer? Are you noticing a higher cooperation from the customer? And isn't that indicating that the trust is higher, that the relationship is protected? Let's take a look.
Hi, Mrs. Smith. I see you're back today.
Yes, my car was here all day yesterday. The problem is still not fixed. I mean, this is ridiculous. I've got to go away this weekend. I need the car.
Oh my God, I certainly apologize. That must be inconvenient for him. Sorry that happened. I'm going to take care of this for you right away. Can I ask you just a couple questions, and then we'll see what we can do for you?
Sure.
Sure. And is it the same noise that it was making when you brought it in before? Has that changed at all?
No, I still hear the same noise.
The same noise, and it didn't get louder or anything. It's the same.
I think it's the same.
It's the same. Okay. So I understand how inconvenient that must be, and you did say that you're in a hurry and you've got things to do today. Okay. So I'm going to take care of this. What I'd like to do, if you would wait just a couple minutes, I'm going to go research this, talk with my manager, see what we can do, and I'll be right back with you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I'm back from researching Mrs. Smith, and first off, I want to say we do apologize. We value your business, and it's certainly, we have a great group of people in the back. It must have been a complicated problem. What I can do for you today is get the car in, take a look. We can give you an estimated time to get that done, or I can get you a loaner available because we want this to be taken care of for you. And again, I understand that you've got a lot to do. And which one would work for you better?
I think if I can get a loaner car today, that would be
Okay,
helpful.
great. So just to clarify, so we're going to take the car in, we'll get you a loaner, we'll find out what's going on, and then I can contact you?
Yes.
Okay,
thank
great.
you.
And again, I do apologize. We want to get this squared away for you, and I know you got a lot to do, but thanks for bringing it back in, and I'll get you the loaner, and we'll see you in just a couple minutes out front.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep.
All right, so thank you for watching the magic version here, where the issue with the auto is not fixed the very first time. And of course, that's what you always want. There's some complexity here. And so this scenario can be very upsetting to the customer. Did you notice what did he do that made this magic? For example, he used her name. He said, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to look into this for you right now. He made some agreements right away that allayed her concerns. He acknowledged how difficult this was for her through empathy, because she had a situation where she absolutely needed the car fixed. She needed this issue fixed. And he asked permission to ask questions to identify exactly what the issue was. Was it the same issue? Was it a different issue? So that he could share that with the technicians. Those questions and asking permission to ask questions gives the customer a sense of security that this is going to be looked at, and it's going to be looked at properly. So now, one situation here which was really helpful is that the loaner car was available. That may not always happen, and you may have heard the delivery of using the bad news model in the other scenarios. There was an opportunity to do it here, yet the loaner car was available. Now take a look at the bottom of page 2 is the magic bad news model, and here's how it works. You let the customer know how important. You say, this is very important for you. I can hear how important it is for you to get this fixed. You can let them know what the bad news is now. And the bad news is, we don't have a loaner car, or I don't know when this is going to be fixed, or I'm unsure of whether or not we have enough technicians right now to get it fixed today. That's all bad news, but you're surrounding it with empathy, as you can see at the bottom of page 2. And then you can acknowledge, I know this is not exactly what the answer is that you are looking for. What I can do for you, Mr. Customer, Ms. Customer, is offer you options. And that's what you do. You offer options to the customer, ask which will work best for you. Will that work for you? So I encourage you to practice this model. It's going to require some practice, yet very often you have to deliver news that that is not completely what the customer is asking for. And that's where this particular model comes in, and you can use it to protect that relationship, which is the key, and deliver it in a magic way, and have confidence because you provided options to the customer. The customer chooses what's best for them. That allows you to be confident. It allows them to feel confident in you. It allows you to protect that relationship, which is really key, because there may be lots of different options depending upon your position in the dealership or the dealership's policies. So think about that. What one thing that you saw in this magic video is something that you'd like to work on? Please pick one thing, and good luck working on it. Thank you so much for watching that series of different scenarios. And what I'd like to ask you is, what one thing are you going to do differently right now, since you've learned what the tragic is, you've learned what the magic is, and you saw the different reaction from the customer? The key about magic is it's a predictable method to develop a relationship. There's lots of different ways that you can solve some of these difficult situations with different options that you may have, and it may be different from person to person, dealership to dealership. The key is, if you develop that relationship, you've got that trust, you have that cooperation, and you saw that. The key is, if you saw that in the magic scenarios, that's what you want. Even the customer may demand to get that answer that he or she wants. You may not be able to give them that. What you can do, though, is have the relationship such that they're cooperating with you to come to a solution that's best for both of you. And that relationship is strong such that they're willing to continue with you and the dealership moving forward, even though you have that difficult situation. We at Communico encourage you to watch this over and over again. Pick one thing at a time that you're willing to change. Habits, as you know, are difficult to change, so work at it. This is designed so that you can watch it multiple times, and that's what we encourage you to do. We wish you much luck. Please reach out. We're happy to answer any other questions. Thank you so much for watching.